back to another podcast with the West Ivy crew. I am Khomola and I am your presenter for today. With us, as you can see, today we're talking about Khomola, guys. I don't know how this is going to go, but at the end of the day, we'll just see. Okay, on my right hand side, we have Mr. EFF. I don't know what to call him, but he is Kujo Mamabolo. Welcome. And then on my left, we have Mr. Prince Soksa. And he is from the SASCO. And then lastly, we have Ntanta Mahumani from the SCO. So welcome, guys. Welcome.
No, thanks for having us.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So I have a brief question. Let's start with you, Ntanta. What is SCO?
Oh, SCO, it means a student Christian organization.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a peaceful movement as well.
Very peaceful.
Yeah, it's a peaceful movement. Yeah, it's based on two fraternities, which is the political side of the structure and also the Christian side
of the structure. Okay, I see. And Mr. Kujo, what is the EFFSC?
The EFFSC is an economic emancipation movement of students in high institutions of learning. We've seen a vacuum of leadership in high institutions of learning, and upon the formation of the EFF, there was a need to establish a student formation. Hence, you see the EFFSC being formed, and the EFFSC is continuing to grow across institutions of higher learning. In most campuses, we are in the SRC, and you can clearly see that the leadership of the EFFSC is the one that the students have interested themselves upon. So we are moving as the EFFSC, and basically we are trying to champion all issues that are faced by students in high institutions of learning.
Okay. And Mr. Prince, tell us about SASCO.
No, the South African Student Congress, which has 30 years unbroken years of service delivery, servicing our students across the country. It stands to represent students in all institutions of higher learning, and to champion the interest of students on a daily life basis. I remember we have students who are coming from poor backgrounds, students who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds in the rural areas and townships. That's where most our black and marginalized people are from. So the Student Congress is there to make sure that they get the best quality of education that is compulsory, that is non-racial, non-racist, and non-sexist, even non-tribal. They must get the best quality of education without any fear or any intimidation from anyone.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So, you guys are representing the University of Limpopo students, right? So I want to know, we have the transitional student movement or student representative council. What is your view on that, Mr. Kujo?
Last year we had the transitional SRC,
yes,
which is basically meant to take us into a transition period whereby we can have proper SRC elections. So ordinarily you wouldn't have a transitional structure serving a full term.
yes.
So at first we welcomed the appointment of the TSRC, because we had hoped that with that particular appointment we'll just have a few months of transition and the institution will prepare itself for SRC elections, be it online or manual. But we've grown to be very much frustrated with the manner in which the TSRC is treating the students of the University of Limpopo. They've basically taken student leadership on flight mode because they are no longer interacting with students. Their transition period, we are of the view that it has long expired. They are still in office. Any matter that is affecting the students, they are not there to show that indeed they are the leadership of the students. So in the FFSC, we've taken a posture that we are going to distance ourselves from the TSRC.
Okay.
And we are going to run parallel to that particular structure, although we are not in government, because
yes,
some of the issues will require you to be in governance in order for you to implement.
yes.
But we are trying our best from the opposition benches to ensure that we call for the removal of the transitional SRC as a matter of agency, and we can ultimately have online SRC elections whereby the students are going to elect the leadership that they trust in.
Just like other universities have done.
Precisely.
Okay, thank you so much. And Mr. Prince, what is your take on that?
No, look, it's useless, that thing.
Useless how?
Very, very much useless to an extent that even yourself as a presenter, you can do better. I mean, even the appointment of the TSRC, maybe because at the time I was still the convener of SASCO. I know the processes and everything.
Okay.
It was said that they engage us, and then we agreed to a TSRC nonsense. It never happened. The only engagement we've got was that we had to choose between online elections and manual elections. And then therefore, because ours, we know the relationship of the student command and the university management. They have a very nice relationship.
Yes.
Even the chairperson of the EFF in the province, Joseph Putan,
Yes.
he can come there on campus. He's been coming. We've seen him many times. He's friends with Mokhalung. It's one and the same thing. You can't distance EFF and Mokhalung. It's one and the same thing.
So you're saying that the EFF has power
here? Can I finish? So now, we said, us, we don't trust this thing of online elections.
Okay.
And EFF also came and said, we don't trust this thing of online elections. And then they said, what do you suggest? We said manual elections. And then we had the meeting again. The meeting was collapsed necessarily because still we're not agreeing with the online elections. But then remember, it was a new thing. In the University of Limpopo, they can't even give you that thing of an academic record through online.
Yeah, that is
you know. It's basic, simple things. Online registration, they are failing. They failed to convince us by the time that they can run SRC elections online. So now, it shows that these people, they don't have interest of students. So they went on and imposed that TSRC. So I wanted to give you some background history to say, how did they came about with the TSRC? And then all parties were cornered to say, no, we must participate because even the constitution of the SRC on its own, it gives powers to who? To the management. Okay. And it must be changed. Who must change that? It's us as student leaders. You see. And then with the TSRC, I don't think there is even they themselves, they've admitted, man. They are tired.
Tired of
what? They admitted that they are incompetent. You see, when they are incompetent, and even as a student leaders, there's nothing we can discuss with them. Politically, they are nowhere to be found.
They are
empty. They are clueless, all of them. Because at least maybe if there was one politician there, we understand, some of us, that Prof. Mokhalung wouldn't allow to have a politician like some of us, as maybe SRC members.
That's true.
Because we won't agree to such, because we won't agree to this nonsense. You see, we won't agree to such nonsense because now, remember, the TSRC is appointed by who?
By
the management.
Yeah.
So they gave them a job on its own. You see, so it means that if they are not agreeing with the management, also the management has the powers to remove them.
Yes.
You see, so now they are forced to comply, and come out, they are useless. So it becomes a chaos, uselessness everywhere. So myself, as a student representative and as a leader of SASCO, I would make it clear that to everyone to say that we are not going to agree with any type of TSRC. And then our wish is that we must never, in history, allow such nonsense. Any student leader who's going to lead in the University of Limpopo, once they speak about TSRC, do not agree. A student, once they speak about TSRC, do not agree. Necessarily because it is not there to represent the interest of the student, but to represent the management.
Okay, that makes sense. What about you, Nhlanhla? They've been talking. What are you saying? What is your insight on this?
Okay, all I can say is that from the perspective side or from the peaceful movement, we came to the realization that the TSRC is acting like a firewall.
A firewall between
a firewall. What is a firewall? A firewall is a wall that is breaking somebody who's trying to access to the university without the credentials.
Okay.
So what am I trying to say? In order for us to submit, or to students to submit their issues to the management, they have to bring it to the TSRC. So the TSRC is a firewall. It's a wall to us. We can't access our institution.
Okay.
At some point, you find that students they submit the issues, or they call one of the TSRC executives, and then one will respond in such a way that, wait, I will come back to you in a moment. Some they send text and then they take time to respond. And to that, to students, it's a bit of a frustration, and also it makes students to act disparate to a point whereby they begin to text all of us, maybe going to EFF or going to SASCO, also going to SCO,
Yes.
seeking for help. So at some point, TSRC, it's a firewall.
Because
It's acting as a firewall.
okay, I can see that. Now I know that as a student of the University of Limpopo, we have several issues that we are being faced with. For example, I would say that our first entering students, they have no access to campus, not actually referring to the health science students, but actually referring to faculties such as humanities, law and management, and also agriculture or the Bachelor of Sciences. Now I want to know, what exactly is the main challenge that we would say our first entering students specifically are facing? I'll start with you, Nkandla.
Okay, these are the challenges. Number one, they don't know the university.
Okay.
Number two, they are clueless.
Clueless on what?
Informative side, being informative towards the university.
Okay.
How the university operates. How is TEFLOP operating? Like for an example, now we're in gender of online learning.
Okay.
So some of the students, they wish to have that feeling of saying that, okay, I'm in university, but I'm at home.
Okay.
You see, so they don't have experience of the university. Number two, they don't have information. For the online, for the first entering, there must be that thing of orientation.
Okay.
So during orientation, they influence students to go there and encourage students to know the university, how to use the library.
Yes.
So let's take one of the first entering of 2021. Is that person going to be able to use library?
No, they won't.
They won't use library. We speak of Lapulugo. To them, it's something like it's something that happened in a dream.
Yes,
They've never
they
been
do
in
not know
Lapulugo.
what
They've never
Lapuluga
been in
is.
library. So they
Okay.
don't have information of their institution. They are clueless, but they are in an institution.
Would you say that the main challenge here is online learning or the pandemic that we are in?
Number one, the pandemic played a big role because it is the source of this whole issues, this whole chaos. If there was no pandemic, then there wouldn't be these things that we're facing.
Okay.
So it means that if you can take away the pandemic, then we are free.
We are free.
But we take back the pandemic, we are still in the issues, we are still struggling, stagnation, we are stagnant.
Okay.
We can't do anything.
We can't do anything.
Yeah.
What is your view on this, Mr. Mamabolo?
You know, some of our first entering students, and the latter speakers mentioned that these challenges that they are faced with emanate from the pandemic itself.
Okay.
You know, first entering students, even those who came in 2020, the challenge that they are facing is such that they never really got exposed to the university setting.
Okay.
Those who came in 2020, I think they only lasted for about a month and then they were taken home. And then the first entering students of 2021, immediately when they introduced to the university, the first thing that they were faced with is online learning. The first thing that they are faced with is Blackboard. So they never really got a chance to be exposed to the entire lecture hall to see how things are running in university city. Most of them are still under the false guise that you just read slides and then there's a test, you copy, that's
You're
what
right.
you do. So we really feel for these first entering students, and part of the proposal that we made to the university management is such that in line with the repatriation plan, they must prioritize first entering students. And we are glad that to date, upon taking mandate from the EFFSC, the university has ensured that most first entering students are brought back to the university. They've been repatriated and now they are focusing on other levels of study. But we think that is going to be a gradual phase which is going to take them fully in on how it is, the life of being a student, the life of yourself being an independent person and being able to grow yourself. So we are going to be firm on that to ensure that they are exposed to campus facilities, they're exposed to the library to see how it works, because the online induction which took place did not really cover a wide range of things which you'd normally find at university. They only inducted them on a few things, how to access Blackboard, how to set up a student email and all these other petty things. But we are of the view that with them being on campus and having access to campus, they'll be able to see other facilities on their campus, and if they have questions in that regard,
They'll be able to
able
ask.
to be assisted, and then even us as student leaders will be able to assist them and carry them to the next phase of being a student.
Okay. Mr. Prince, I'm not going to ask you the questions that I've asked them, but my issue is here. Mr. Mamawido here has mentioned that they'll be able to have access to other departments or sectors of the university. For example, I would say I'm part of the CAE, the Center for Academic Excellence, and we have people who are part of the health center. We as returning students have not been repatriated, and I believe that the CAE is the very important structure at the university to help first entering students. So what are you saying about that mandate? How would you carry it out and say that, please, Mr. Mphahlele, repatriate our mentors, repatriate our language assistants, our first entering students need them? What would you say about that?
You know, there is nothing to please. You must just demand. You can't please. You must just demand. This man must just repatriate these people, because they play a major role in making sure that these first enterings are well capacitated for exam.
Okay.
And we can't celebrate nonsense. Remember, first entering students were just repatriated now in June.
Okay.
June, half of the year. It means that January they were at home eating malana.
Yes.
February, up until June. Now you take the person to campus, you say they must go and write an exam. It's not going to be possible.
Yeah.
It's not going to be possible. I want to tell you now, there are students that have never seen a computer with their naked eyes.
That is true.
There are students who can't even press enter. When you say press enter, they switch off the laptop. So how are we going to make sure that they are familiar with such devices? I remember what happened last year.
Yes.
We're given what we call the laptops.
Yes.
Why did the process of laptop stop to start with? We must question such things as student leaders. Because at the time, not every student got the laptop, remember.
Yes.
Other students, they never got the laptop. Now you also bring new first entering students. They don't even have the laptop. You are saying what? Online learning. They don't even know what is a student email. This other one, I was even forced to go to his room just to assist a student email. I'm busy explaining on the phone. I was even frustrated to say, but it's a student email like this, but I understand that it's a first entering. And there are major issues that are facing the students, and then hence I'm not going to be happy to say you were not willing to ask me that question. You asked them. Because I know of many issues that are affecting them. Number one is the issue of being robbed by gangs here.
Yes.
in the society.
Yes.
Those people, how will they feel after that? Do these people get counseling?
No, they don't.
Do
Because the
these
centers are closed.
As you said, that you people of deep block, people of CAE, people of health center, and so on, you need to be repatriated back. Hence, I'm saying to you, you can't please that. You
Yes.
can't beg that. It's your university. There is no university without that. So we lost it, comrades. We lost it, and I think I must just to pose it to any student leader in the university to say, it's high time they wake up. Because all of them, they are sleeping, you see. They are sleeping, all of them. They think everything it's not a vacation, this thing.
Yeah,
It's not a vacation, it's a revolution, it's a serious war. When you take a decision to say, I want to be a politician, I want to change the life of these kids, it doesn't mean you must just propose them. No, assist these people without expecting anything in return. You see. Now we have the issues of off-campus allowance.
Yes.
The small issues, money issues. It's not like the students are asking for money that is not there. And as far as it's already paid that money. But because those people are negligent, they are arrogant, they are not willing to compromise. Yes, the incompetence is there. It's a disease, in fact, in the University of Limpopo. You see, maybe we must change the whole cabinet, the executive. Maybe we might find something new. You see, I'm not saying anything.
Don't you think maybe we need new blood? Maybe young people should sit in the seat of the vice chancellor, or maybe, let's just say, we need more youngsters to be sitting where our old people are actually sitting.
No, that is why I said, when people were complaining about old people, because myself, I'm from the African National Congress. I'm a member of the African National Congress in good standing.
Yes.
I said to many of them, you are complaining about these old people. What are you doing with them? Remove these old people. So each and every young person in this country must contest the space. Where there's a space whereby an old person is contesting, a young person must contest. And young people, they themselves, they have a generational mandate to support one another. Because without the support of young people, how about those old people, they support one another?
Yes,
But now if people were to say, no, we are saying, you must go and be a presenter at SAPC, There will be some people who say, but she's slander. But no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Black on black hate, it must come to an end, and we must support one another. Young people must rally behind one another.
Okay. So, Mr. Ntantla, I want to address the issue of allowance. We know that we were crying, UL students were crying. It came to a point whereby it was stopped calling University of Tondani because people were fed up. It was not actually representing Limpopo, but it was just a mere university in the rural areas. I want to know what part did the SCO play in saying that the university, can you please release our student allowances?
Okay. Hence, SASCO initiated the peaceful movement, peaceful protest. We decided as SCO, we decided to join the SASCO. Under this reason, it's because of we are showing peace, and in ourselves we are peace, and also we are united as students.
Okay.
We put aside that thing of saying that this is a political structure or political campaign and such.
Okay.
Let's unite as students and fight what is beneficial for students.
As a whole.
Because of, if we let SASCO fight alone for off-camp allowance, it's not meant for SASCO students
Only.
or SASCO comrades only.
Yeah.
This is a matter that is affecting the whole students. So we said that, okay, let's collaborate with them and join with them so that they can see that we are serious about this thing. Students are suffering. Students have been kicked outside from their residence. Students, they have been sleeping without eating because they were using food allowance to pay rent.
Yes.
So, for an example, if somebody is supposed to pay 1.8 for a room, and then you are receiving 1.5, you see, it means that there's a gap there. So, in order to fix this issue,
Yes.
let's join, let's collaborate, become united as University of Limpopo students, and then we bring out the management because of the TSRC has been failing. Like I said, it's a firewall.
Yes.
It has been breaking us, it has been stopping us. So we united, and then we face them and say that people, this is what we want. It's ours. Let's engage on this matter. We need this allowance. We need this off-camp allowance in order to pay for our rent. Because of, it's not everyone who's staying in or who's residing on camp.
Yeah.
Like, you know, our university doesn't have enough residents to accommodate our students.
Everyone.
So we have to reside off camp. We
Yes.
have to go off camp. So in order for that is beneficial for our students. There's no problem with collaborating with other political structures, and then we resemble unity as university students. That's
Okay.
it.
All right, Mr. Mamabolo, what did the allowance they are short? What did the allowance they are short? I don't know about you guys, Mara, Nayaka are short. So I want to know, what is the way forward on that? Matuhumani the 5.6, Babahumani the 5.3, Babahumani the 2.8. What is the way forward on that?
Yeah, perhaps maybe before I get to the way forward, let me just give a historical context of this issue of campus allowance.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't agree with the latter speaker who said that SASCO initiated this thing, because history is the best teacher. Our documents are there. You can even see some of our posters. The EFF is the one that initiated. Initiate means start.
Yes.
When you are starting something, it goes down to where did this thing start. You can check our posters. We started the struggle of off-campus allowance. We started the struggle of disbanding the TSRC.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate that people are under the false guise that now it's SASCO, because SASCO has been the ones who were recently on the streets.
All right.
Because you must understand one thing, we are political formations. We don't take mandate from SASCO, don't take mandate from SCO. And even this other political party, excuse me, they don't take mandate from the EFFSC. So the EFFSC knows what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So regarding the matter of money being short, others getting maybe perhaps like 2.6, others getting 5.6. This is how it went down. The institution required us, upon getting a requirement from NSFAS, that students must submit these agreement forms.
Yes.
And indeed, the institution told students to submit these agreement forms. The mistake that was made is lack of communication from the institution itself to tell students to write a maximum amount on the lease agreement form.
Okay.
So the students only wrote the amount that they are paying, not considering the fact that you might be paying 800 rands, but 150 for Wi-Fi,
150 for electricity. Okay.
So if maybe students had prior knowledge of such, they were going to just write the full amount, knowing very well that they are going to get the 1.4. So the institution took advantage of that, and they are seemingly trying to loot the money which belongs to the students by saying that no, if you wrote 800, it means that you're going to get 800
per month.
Multiply by 4, multiply by 5 for those particular months. So it's the EFFSC, we've seen that, okay, there's someone here trying to loot money which belongs to the students, and as you know, the EFFSC will never allow that to happen. So we've given them some time, not enough time, I just given them a period of about 4 days, and if that period elapses without them upsiding that particular allowance, the EFFSC will then take mandate from its own students. If the students want us to take it to the street, that's ultimately what we're going to do, and we are not going to abandon any struggle which belongs to the students. Doesn't matter how it started, doesn't matter if you are taking pauses in between the struggle. What matters is that you must initiate it, and at the end of the day, you must see fruition. At the end of the day, you must see students getting money which belongs to them. So we are going to dispel that particular myth which seeks to suggest that SASCO began with this thing. There are posters upon this interview. We are going to show you those posters where the EFF clearly stipulated that we demand off-campus allowances, we demand book allowances, we demand the disbandment of the TSRC, and again we demand 100% repatriation of students. Until all those demands are achieved, the EFFSC will never rest with regards to fighting for the students.
Aluta continua, guys, that is what they say. So now, are we going to have online elections, or are we going to have manual elections?
But can I get in between, because I'm seemingly getting to miss all these questions. I don't know where you don't pose them to me also, because even other political formations will tell you that this thing was initiated by us. So I don't know how you skip initiators, because we're the best stakeholders when it comes to this issue. You see, you may find that we have more of information than other political parties, because as they said, I didn't say it, we're initiators of this thing. Okay, it's fine, but I don't want to dwell much on this issue of the shortage of money. But I just want to tell you what are we doing from our side. I don't want to say we did this. Students know what we did. Yes, everyone knows what we did. SASCO comrades, they did whatever that they did, and students saw. You see. And other political formations, they did whatever that they did, students saw. And it's upon the students to check who is who. You see. So now, what we are doing is that day before yesterday, I requested those students who have the shortage of money, their details. Even now, I can take my phone out, and then I will show you the messages where they are sending me the details. Number one, we're targeting those students that they've never received anything from the year, because they are there. They are starving, you see. So we want to assist them, and then we are targeting those students that they received their money, but it's short, just like yourself. You are saying you were robbed, you see. So number three, we're targeting students who have other financial related issues. So the list is almost done. It's just that I don't want to be brutal to say, let me just submit because it's done. I gave them until 5 o'clock today, and then later today I'm going to submit the list. This is what is going to happen with the list. We are doing what the university management is failing to do. I guess they can't see who is getting the money, who is not getting the money. We are bringing the list to them to say this one and this one and this one. They qualify, but they are not funded. Fund this one. You see. Now the job will be more easier. And we'll use the same list. If ever they are not going to agree with our demands to say, let them give the students the money. Again, they rob the students. They must give them back their money. It belongs to the students. So if they are not giving the students, where is the money going? We must know also. So we're saying that if they're not going to assist, it's fine. We'll use the same list. We'll call the students. And then we'll go and take the money ourselves there.
You're going to go there and take the money yourself? It's
either the money is coming to us or we are coming for the money.
Yeah, S block.
Yes.
Okay, guys. I don't know how, but comrades always have a way. So I want to I know a lot of students are confused. Most of them, they say they want to be repatriated, but at the same time, they signed the release agreement that they're still off campus. Can you please explain that, Mr. Nhlanhla? What is going to happen there, if you have any light on that?
Okay, number one, any student who signed that form of private accommodation and also submitted together with the lease agreement, you know, the lease agreement is telling us itself that we already have you have been accommodated, you have accommodation at off camp because of it's from the landlord.
Okay.
Meaning that you have a room off camp. So in case of repatriation, they can be repatriated. But our worry is the ones that has to be repatriated back to campus. Because of they've been promising us banana in an apple tree.
Okay.
They've been talking about repatriation of returning. But still, since from last year even today, returning students have not been repatriated. So what is going to happen is that, okay, we give the university that, okay, we waited for the university to repatriate, and then, but still they fail. So because of that, as political leaders, we shall protest, as SCO, we shall take it to the street. We protest as a peaceful movement. We are not going to fight or whatsoever, but it's a protest. It's a peaceful protest to the management of the university. That, okay, repatriate students, because some of them that are at home still struggling of network. Somebody is staying in a certain rural area, there's no network there. So meaning that when it comes for exam, that particular person is still struggling, and it's a problem. And somebody will say that, okay, I did not write my exam, I did not write my test just because of network problems. And the people that are within the university, they don't want to hear that. The lecturers, the HOD, they'll be like, okay, Tina, we know that, okay, the system tells us that you opened the examination, you decided not to write. So let's repatriate them, and then when they repatriate them, it will be at advantageous side of students. Number one, they will not struggle of network. A number of things will be covered, such as having availability of information. Because of now, I remember the last time we had, the university said that they allow students to go there to the library at some point, like, but it's a
they do.
It's the periodical stuff. It's
They do. Joe, guys, I have a story, but then we'll touch on that. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
I don't believe they do. There was this poster, guys.
They chase students there.
There was this poster whereby they said that Faculty of Management and Law will go to the library on this day. Mafoko, you all don't know anything about that.
They are not inducted.
Yeah. They don't know anything about that.
Well, with the students that signed the lease agreement and then they were not yet repatriated. The agreement was that even some of these leaders who are here, they can attest that we had a meeting with the management.
Okay.
The agreement was that they are going to be paid their money from the period of which they stayed from off campus
until they get repatriated.
Until they get to the campus.
Okay, makes sense.
Because when they were staying off campus, they were paying. They have debt, these people.
Yes.
You see, they don't have any sort of any source of income except the
allowances.
The allowances from NSFAS. You see, so we ought to also remind them of that, to say repatriate the students. Remember, you can't be greedy like that. Students were staying at home, I think, for more than 8 months last year. They were paying still. They were charged money. They were charged in this campus. They were not using their water. They were not using their electricity.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. They were not even touching their door handles. So they must be compensated at some point.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. I don't know how other leaders will work on this one, but on our side, we are prepared.
We are prepared.
We are very much prepared like never before. And the baboon shall kiss the roof.
Hey, guys. What do you say on that one? Whether the repatriation, the allowances, the lease agreements?
No, it's common knowledge that if you were staying at home prior to the period that you got repatriated, you must get your off-campus allowance.
Okay.
That has been happening. So the students who are now repatriated back on campus, obviously you cannot claim off-campus allowance. If you are now staying on campus. So you're just going to get it for the period that you've been away. And then the time that you are staying on campus, you will then be covered by NSFAS in terms of your expenses and other things. So the students have been getting the allowance. So if there's a student who did not get an allowance, that they are now repatriated, they were staying on campus and they submitted a disagreement form, will be more than willing to assist us.
To assist them. Okay, guys, you've heard, if your allowance is and you're on campus but you were staying off campus, do contact any of these gentlemen. I'm sure they'll be very much willing to assist you. So the election, I want to know about the elections because I'm very curious on that. I know you guys very soon will submit that memorandum saying that this is what we'll give to the students. But I want to know, what are you doing now? Before we get to the memorandum part, besides the allowance, I know we have a lot of issues. Besides the allowance, besides the off-campus allowance, we know for a very long time, Khale health students at the University of Limpopo being repatriated. We have law students, we have agriculture students. I know agriculture honor students were actually forced by their directors to say, please repatriate these people. What are you guys doing about that? Because I know that law students are struggling. We have siblings, kids are crying, you have to study, exams are around the corner. What are you doing about that as political structures?
Or myself?
Any one of you.
Okay.
Anyone, I'm not
It's
addressing.
fine. Myself, I can no, but I'm the center of attention. It's fine. No, you see, it's very important that you ask such a question. Very, very important to remember what we stand for, because from our perspective side, SASCO doesn't exist to contest elections only. Yes, we must contest elections because we believe and we're of a view that policies of SASCO are the ones that can shape the future of a black child. But we don't just exist solely for elections.
Okay.
We exist to solve issues of students on a daily basis, as I said when I started speaking to you, remember. So now, what we're doing is that, remember, I touched an issue of off-campus safety.
Yes.
We already submitted a letter. We're waiting for a date where we're going to march. We'll take all the students off campus and on campus because they're all affected. We'll go and march to the police station there to remind the police people there to say that they are not there to drink coffee, expensive coffee, and take the state cars to date Bomaria and Bomatome around Mankwing. But they must make sure that we are safe among this community and we are community members before we are students.
Yes.
And then number two, we have tax teams in different faculties. Health sciences, they are doing very well, led by the capable leadership, Ukombe Tapelo Malachi. And then you were speaking about the management and law.
Yes.
And then there is, in the School of Law, there is Ukombe Tlungelo there. Yesterday he was showing me his program of action on how to assist the students so that they can get repatriated in a very much quick way. We just established the tax team here, agric and science. So we are also co-opting them to say, come, let's work together. And then we also have humanities and then other comrades there. Comrade Ngamalala is there. We have Comrade Rubber Bullet there. They are assisting students on a daily basis. So our main focus at the moment is to say that let's just deal with the student issues. This one of elections, we'll see it when we have a date, because we don't have a date. Why should we focus on elections when we don't have a date and students are struggling on a daily basis? Remember, Mkhalung can just decide to say, no, he's not going to give us a date, and we have another TSRC. What is it that is going to happen?
But would you protest to say, I want to be in the TSRC?
I will never wish to form part of a TSRC.
Okay. Mr. Ntanta, what is your take on that? What are you guys doing as a political structure?
Okay, hence the speaker said that, highlighted that we cannot rush to elections because at the moment students are suffering.
Yes.
Some of them, they did not receive allowance. Some of them, they don't have residence. I was in contact with Kabelo, the treasurer of the TSRC, talking to her about an issue of students who, these students are new students, but they don't have accommodation. So I said to her, instead of the university saying that, okay, this residence has been reserved for these students,
yes,
communicate with the management, take these students within the campus in case of safety so that they can be safe. But when it comes for those students that will be repatriated, they can be moved to the next rest that is waiting for repatriation of students.
Until they are repatriated.
Until they are repatriated.
Okay, it
so
makes
that's
sense.
What some of that is something that we are also doing. And another thing, we are encouraging this thing of students to attend this thing of churches. It's an important measure, this one, because a student has to pray.
So wait, on that chapter,
yeah.
At school, on campus, we know we have different church structures, but they're all closed because they don't have access to campus. And with the current rise in COVID-19 cases, we are on the third wave. How would you actually say, let's go back to church, but we know we have COVID-19 cases, and as we can see, our high school students are being affected, our primary schools are being affected, taking it to a closer school, which is being Marbatota High School. how would you say you are influencing that? Please, let's go to church, let's pray, and at the same time, let's maintain social distancing and not contact this virus. What are you saying about that?
Okay, that one is a simple matter. In case of University of Limpopo, we have these gates, gate 1, gate 2, gate 3.
Okay.
We shall encourage students to come and gather in that gate because we are not looking for a venue.
Okay.
University won't give us a venue because of, the rules of the pandemic. So, we'll be gathering in this gate, having services.
Okay.
Having services for students to pray. Like for now, it's an exam. We are running for exams. Students have to pray. Students must pray. So that's some of the things that we are busy strategizing on that are now to work out on such things, so that students can pray, can have time to pray. We know that we have our students. These students, they are SCO students. They attend church at SCO, in SCO, and they live in SCO.
Okay.
Home away from home,
Yeah.
So these students are ours, and yet they have to travel to other churches. And you find that out there, they don't feel that comfortable, or they are not that free.
But isn't church?
Yes, church is church, but operation, we define operation.
In operations. Okay.
Yeah. So for
That's politics.
Yes, it's politics. Like
Okay.
you say, operation. So yeah, for SEO, we are still strategizing on how to work out such things, and also to engage with the management to allow us, because it's our university. We are not looking for a venue. We want to use an open air.
Open air.
Gate, so
Okay.
that everybody can see that. Oh, yeah, we still have to.
So you're going to be maintaining the COVID-19 protocols, social distancing, wear your mask, but you're still a church and you're doing the right things.
Yes, we still have to maintain those COVID-19 pandemic rules. We have to wear a mask, bring your mask, maintain social distance, so that you can be in good relationship with the management.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, what is your take on that? On what are you doing as the EFFSC?
There's something that I've noticed here. Excuse me. These colleagues of mine, they're swimming in a pool of contradiction. That's the disadvantage and the end result of joining struggles that you don't know of. The EFFSC, like I said, we initiated the struggle of Offcampus allowance, we initiated the struggle of disbanding the TSRC. On my left here, they joined us. They joined that particular struggle, seeking for relevance. Today, all of them, they are now saying that they are not in a hurry for elections. But they were the same people who joined our struggle to say that the TSRC must be disbanded. I mean, why do you disband if you don't want elections? So I want to make it clear, the EFFSC wants elections. We want elections as in today. Hence, we are calling for the disbandment of the TSRC. Because I want to alert you of something. As political parties, like I've said, that we've declared ourselves as the opposition.
Yes.
We are no longer operating with the TSRC, even though there are some members of
Of the
in that
EFF.
particular structure. We are striving through influence as political parties on the opposition benches. So we must be able to influence those who are able to take certain decisions. I mean, we can come here to interviews to say, if this does not happen, we are going to do this. If this does not happen, we are going to do this. But at the end of the day, if you do not have power to change certain things,
Then there's nothing. Yeah.
As an opposition, you must strive through influence. You must do all that you can to ensure that you influence. So we've seen that influence takes time. Hence, we are saying that we want immediate SRC elections so that we are in government, we are able to change things with immediate effect.
Yes.
So that's what we want as the FFC. We will never abandon that particular struggle. And it's very laughable that some of us here, they think that they no longer want elections, yet they join the struggle for the disbandment of the TSRC. Again, what the EFF has been doing throughout the years, you know that we recently turned 6 years. The EFFC was formed in 16th of June 2015. So throughout that period, that 6 years period, we've been consistent with looking for ways in which we can ensure that the struggles of students are ultimately attained in institutions of higher learning. I mean, other campuses we've realized the struggles of insourcing, and that's what we intend to ultimately achieve in the University of Limpopo, because some of the workers in the University of Limpopo, they're getting paid peanuts, they don't have medical aid benefits and such. So we are going to ensure, and that means that you must be in government, because through influence alone, you
cannot do anything.
You can't take the institution on a standstill from the opposition benches, because there are some people who are just going to operate if things are normal. You know that now we are operating under COVID-19, so everything is almost online. Imagine telling someone not to write their test, whereas the test is online. You can't go and disrupt it physically. So we want SRC elections so that we can be able to ensure that some of these things that we are speaking of are ultimately achieved
done.
and are achieved as a matter of agency. We've been assisting students from our information as the EFFSC. We've done a lot in ensuring that the students are cleared. Financial exclusion under the FFSC does not exist. We ensure that by any means, whether or not you have money to register with an institution or not, you are going to be granted an opportunity to register despite your background in terms of finances. So we've done that, and most students can attest that they were assisted by some of our comrades in the EFFSC, those who are deployed in the finance task team, to ensure that ultimately they are cleared and they are able to register. Although that particular victory took a bit long because the institution was trying to accumulate as much as they can, because students were panicking that I'm not registered to this point.
Yeah, what is going on?
Pay. So, but we've seen that, and we are going to ensure that moving on, we are going to ensure that no one pays. We are going to guarantee them that you are going to be cleared by any means necessary.
So I want to know, is your main focus as political structures only based on NSFAS, or you also looking at Bofunza Lushaka and CETA? Because most of these bursaries, we know that they delay the process of accepting students. Are you also pushing? I know Funza Lushaka students who are actually doing first year, they have not been processed as yet. Are you also like pushing that, or please accept our students, they are struggling, they need finances? Are you also pushing on that?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been ensuring that we tackle all forms of bursaries. We're not only focusing on NSFAS.
Okay.
I mean, you can attest that just last week we had our weekly EFFSC Red Friday, where we were assisting students, postgraduate students, with the application of NRF.
Yes.
So those are some of the bursaries that we are looking into. And of course, if there are challenges from certain bursary platforms, we are going to ensure that we ultimately look into that and ensure that students are assisted with regards to that. But the general thing that we've observed is that such bursaries do not really pose a threat as NSFAS does. NSFAS is an annual thing. We know that each and every year
we have problems.
NSFAS challenges.
Okay.
But if maybe there's students, like you are saying, I believe that you are accurate with regards to Funza Lushaka first year. We are going to ensure that we assist them and they ultimately get what is due to them.
Okay, and on your side?
Well, I just want to rectify something. No one said we don't want elections here, and we won't let people lie in our names. You see, because elections or no elections, students must be assisted.
Yes.
That was our stand, to say that you can't focus on elections while we have myriad of student issues to deal with. That's one. You must deal with student issues on a daily basis. That's us, it's not us. You see, it's our political stand to say you can't rush into elections whereby students are suffering. Because what are you going to promise them? You are failing just to buy a lunch for a student one day, and then you think that you can lead a student from January up until September. It's not going to be possible.
But let me try and understand what Mr. Mamabula says, that one of the things that as the EFFSC they are doing, they're going to say that we want to disband the TSRC. Hence, he said they are rushing into elections. So you are saying that, you are not saying that you are rushing into elections, but you are also doing other things. But the other things that you are doing is not part of disbanding the TSRC. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, our main focus is on students, not TSRC.
Okay.
That's one. Number two, we agreed with this thing of disbanding the TSRC. I mean, we're in a meeting. Even Prof. Mokhalung said it himself that we are going to have elections. He knows that we are going to have elections. The problem is the date. Hence, I mean, I have a problem to say, how do we speak about elections whereby
When
we
you
don't have the date?
Okay.
He knows how these things work. You can't speak about elections, even national elections. That is why about Julius will see them dancing naked, picketing, because they want a date of elections. You see, they want a date of elections, and then before you can start with assisting and campaigning, they are two different things.
The same thing.
They are two different things, and people they don't understand. When I'm campaigning, I can come with KFC and give everyone here at sunset. It's campaign. You see, it's a once-off thing. But when I'm assisting you with your NSFAS issue, I will assist you up until the year.
Yeah.
You get your NSFAS today, even next month and next month. We were saying that we want elections, but then it's not our main focus.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I can see that you are agreeing with him. So what exactly are you agreeing on?
No, it's just.
He's lying. I cannot allow somebody to lie in my presence.
What are you agreeing with?
What I'm agreeing with is we shouldn't lay our focus, our eyes, our binoculars vision on elections
Okay.
while students are suffering. Let's help students and wait for the date for the election. If they say that on August we're going for elections, then that's when we can start what to campaign.
Okay.
But the issue of students will be students. Election is by students. If you don't help these people, they will not vote.
Okay.
So let's help them.
So that you can later have votes.
So that later on you can have vote. If people are still suffering and then you are running for president, then somehow we are lost.
Okay.
Look, can I add on what this man is saying? When we say vote, we don't necessarily speak about a particular party that must be voted for.
Yes.
But the vote turnout, we are very much interested as political people because...
How many people vote?
Yes, because we want our students to be politically conscious, even if they are not politicians. But they must be politically conscious to say, okay, this one did this one did this. Between this one and this one, who's more handsome? Between this one and this one, who can I go with? You see, we want them to be conscious. When we have, I think we're 26,000 students this year, around there, 25, 26,000. If you can have a turnout vote of 20,000 votes, it could be nice. It could be nice, and then it never happened in history. It's not happening even in VETS or UJ. You see, it will show that students of the University of Limpopo, they own whatever that they have. The leadership is owned by the students. And no one will come and say, no, but you voted for what? All of them, they will support what they voted for. Because students will never support something they never voted for. You'll find the vote turnout, the winning party has 4,000. The losing party has 2,000. What about the remaining
20,000 students? Okay.
The problem will start whereby they never vote. They never voted for you. So when they see you coming, they say, they won't even relate to your issues. So let's conscientize them. Let's show them what is the future upholding for them, because this thing is not only about the current student.
Don't you think you
even
also
the
need
future
to
generation.
educate? Don't you think you also need to educate them? Just to say that we are not a striking party, we are not a picketing party, but we are here to educate you, saying that this is what politics is, and this is what social things are, and these are the clauses. So here are the laws, here are the rules. So you can choose, you are for or against.
Now, you know, the challenge with the University of Limpopo is that the politics, I was asking somebody to say, is the politics or the politics in TEFLOP allows the platform for a participation of women or any other soft comrades, because it's very brutal, I can tell you. It's very, very brutal. So hence, that is why we also strive for a student parliament in the university. It's one of the policies that SASCO will be embarking on when we will speak about elections. Not now. When
so you want to include a student parliament.
Okay. So that everyone can just come there and listen. Okay? And it will eliminate this hooliganism behavior and barbaric behavior, because people who love Muri.
But don't you think only law students will come, only students that are actually interested in debate?
You must never underestimate a human being. Each and every human being
has the
is
power.
A political being. Not a politician, but a political being. There will be some aspects that the person will be interested in. And sometimes Agari will come with a topic. This week we are debating about rural development. This week we are debating about land reform. You see, this week we are discussing about economic emancipation. Maybe these ones, they love man, hey, they come. Hey,
yeah,
they love land, they love building flats, they come, you see. So all in all, we want everyone to engage in this politics. And as such, I don't think it could work if we would say we must have classes, because these people are here to study. The primary objective of students being in the universities because they want to study and finish their degrees, right? And if you are to add another extra classes, they might be interested in your classes more than they're interested in your books. So I think as student leaders, we must just encourage them. Each and every corner where you find a student, tell them, hey, it's very important to be in politics, this and this and this. Because everything is politics. Even yourself, you are politics.
Okay. So guys, we are in the third wave. You guys are politicians. I believe that you guys are very much, let me not say woke, but you guys are very much aware of what is happening in our country. We're on the third wave, and we know the EFF leader, Julius Malema, is pushing for schools to be closed down or shut down. And on the other hand, the president is pushing for local government elections. And here you guys are, you want student elections. I want to know, are you going to agree to the online elections, or are you still going to protest against it, Mr. Mamabolo?
The position of the EFF is such that whether or not we have online elections or manual elections, that's immaterial, it's secondary. What we want is SRC elections. Doesn't
And
matter
that
how
is
they
it.
come. But of course, as responsible leaders, we wouldn't want to expose students to the pandemic itself, because we are well aware of the fact that now there's a third wave, so we can't be reckless as student leaders. So the most probable aspect that we would like to welcome is that of saying that we must have online SRC elections. I think that would be best, and in fact even the voter turnout will be much higher than what you normally expect, because in as much as you can say there must be manual elections, some students will not even pitch because they'll be afraid of saying, no, what if I go there and then I catch COVID? So if things are done online, that will be best. But what we want is a stringent measure and an auditing body that will ensure that the elections online are free and fair, because we don't want online elections which are going to be exposed to that particular system of theirs called online facilities. We know that thing has been failing a lot of students.
It fails a lot of
Trying to vote
students.
for EFF, then you mistakenly click on some. So it's going to be a problem. What we want is a tight online system that can be credible, that can be transparent, whereby even those, because normally under normal elections, manual elections, you have what we call party agents who are going to be counting the votes. So how are you going to do that through online? So you must ensure that there is going to be a transparent process of online elections, and ultimately one that student leaders and students in general are going to be highly confident in. So that's what we want, and we don't want any other thing that is going to expose the lives of students to the pandemic, because we've seen that we've lost a lot of people, and in fact now this particular third wave has proven to be more detrimental when it comes to young people. So we don't want to expose them to such. We want to be responsible leaders and have a credible online election.
Okay, thank you. And what about you, Mr. Ntlantla?
Okay, number one, the life of students matters the most. We cannot expose students to the virus. We don't know who has COVID. You cannot detect that this one has COVID. That one doesn't have COVID-19. So let's go for online. Let's vote online. Because of online, number one, it will reduce the life, the risk of students, life of the student, the risk of the life of the students. Like in case we go for, like we used to use that side of NCH for voting. So if you align students in an arranged order or in a chronological way, like it won't be productive and be safe, because of it's not all of us who's gonna wear a mask. So some of the students, you can see, you meet them around the street, they are not wearing masks. So let's go for online, because of the life of the student, and also so it will be effective and also be productive to them, because of a lot of students will participate in the voting. So some of them, they are lazy for going from off-camp to inside the campus for voting, even though they are transport. But some they say that, hey, I'm afraid. Some they have stage fright, you see. So while they are voting within their rooms, then it's good.
Okay. What about you, Mr.
In the midst of a pandemic called the political Satan, COVID-19, we found ourselves with an animal called online, and it's something that we can't run away from. Everything is done online, and we've seen what COVID does to our poor black masses. I'm sure as we are seated here, you have a relative that has passed on because of COVID, or either you know someone who just lost his or her life because of COVID-19. So we can, our love for our students, in as much as we don't trust the management to say they might go with their own favorite party, but our love for the students cannot allow us to risk their life. We are not going to do that. We are not prepared to do that. We are saying that the online elections, that's the only option we're opting for, and we need transparency there. We must be taken through a process. Hence I said we'll speak about many things when we arrive in this item, because let's be confident that indeed it will deliver fair and free elections, because At the end of the day, we want students to be represented, and we want students to have their voice there on campus. We are not happy with this arrangement of a TSRC led by Sikedi and the shining head called Mulepo. We are not happy. And what I don't like, with Mulepo, yes, we can understand, but what I don't like about the woman is that she has painted every woman in the university. Now it's as if like women cannot lead, but just because of one political miscarriage who happened to be a president. So I want to encourage all students to say, let them not lose hope to these female students. They are capable, we know them, we love them. And they must continue to apply the precautionary measures of COVID-19. The president of the country has just announced alert level 3, I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we must just follow the rules and make sure that everyone is safe, our families are safe, and then we have a conducive life going forward, because we can't run away from online elections, and we are going to have online elections, whether they like it or not. Whether Skedi thinks that she will be the president forever, it's fine. The constitution, what I like about that constitution at some point, it says by the end of September, the structure must cease the office. They must leave the office, meaning they can't be Phantom forever. They will be Tompo at some point. Even when John Cena thought he's the steering of wrestling, there was Brock Lesnar also.
Okay.
So we are going to meet there. That's where we are going to test each other's powers to say who loves bananas, who loves beetroot, who loves Ultramel, who loves milk. We'll see there on
so milk is...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to test one another there. But I want to plead for peaceful elections this year. No student should be harmed. No students must lose his or her life. No student leader must think that they are Phantom to an extent that they want to beat everyone up, because we know people, when it comes to elections, I don't know, maybe they think it's the end of the world. Losing elections is not the problem. You regroup, you come back. Winning elections is also not a problem, because people don't understand one thing. Winning elections doesn't mean you've dealt with all the problems. It means that now you have the capacity to deal with the problems. So you have the opportunity to win the students' interest, to say every time they see a ballot, they say Sasko.
Okay. I think you've said your closing words.
Yes.
Okay, in 2 lines. Close up as SCO.
As SCO,
Yes.
we encourage peace. We also encourage students to pray for their exams. They are spiritual warfare. You see, so students must fight for their spiritual warfare. They must be prepared, because we don't want students to end up being confused, or somebody saying that I can't see the laptop, I can't see the words. No, we want students to participate in the exams, and yeah.
Okay, guys, pray, Mara. You must read. Studying and praying go hand in hand. Mr. Mamabolo, can I please have your closing words in brief?
In short, the students know that you've never abandoned them, and their blood is red. So I'm just going to keep it short by saying vote EFF.
Vote EFF, vote SASCO, and vote
No,
CAF.
Sasko is the way, comrades. People must understand, when the time is over, it's over.
Okay.
Even Goliath was defeated. Yes.
Okay.
So, yes.
Jesus is everywhere.
Yes, Jesus is
But your blood
everywhere.
is red.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I actually enjoyed this conversation. I've learned a lot from you guys. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and to the West Ivy viewers, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that 200 subscribers. Also, don't forget to comment. What are you voting for? You are students. You guys are TEFIs, right? Your EFF, your CSO, and your SASCO. Please do join us next time. Comment on who or what to talk about next time. From us, we out.
Mandla. I'm good. So for people who don't know you, who is Lekoko Jacob?
I can't describe myself in many ways.